Welcome to history for the rest of us. Hundreds of years before the opening of Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin, Old Valyria served as the capital city of a great empire called the Valyrian Freehold. Notable architecture included great towers, stone worked by wizards, and broad highways to connect the empire. Of course, the most memorable thing about Old Valyria had to include the dragons that the most important families of the capital city controlled. These powerful beasts served as rapid transportation and, of course, a source of air support that nobody else in the world of Planetos could dream of commanding. GRRM, the true god of Planetos, possesses an incredible imagination. Still, he's also an avid history student and has said he drew inspiration from real life to create his world. For example, GRRM explained the War of the Roses inspired the War of the Five Kings. Sometimes, knowing where authors drew their inspiration makes stories more interesting and helps readers fill in details. If you wanted to explore the real-life inspiration for Old Valyria, when and where would you look? You might think of dragons as the prime symbol of Valyrians. So far as we know, fire-breathing winged reptile-like creatures never actually graced the skies of Earth. Archaeologists assure us that nature produced flying dinosaurs, some of which evolved into birds. Even so, no people were around to witness these creatures, and they probably couldn't breathe fire. Certainly, dragons and similar large creatures figured prominently in the mythology and folklore of several ancient cultures. This includes societies all over Asia and Europe. Sometimes, the dragons have wings, 2 legs, and breathe fire, like Game of Thrones dragons. Other times, these dread beasts have 4 legs, no wings, live in the water, or don't breathe fire. However, if they were real creatures, they'd resemble each other enough to be classified in the same category. This brings us back to the topic of which real-world, historical culture primarily influenced GRRM's vision of Old Valyria. And no, it's not China or medieval England. The dragons, while important to the storyline, serve as sort of a red herring to make the real-world identity of Valyria a little more mysterious. All roads lead to. So, what's the answer? Which society did Mr. Martin use as a model for Old Valyria? All of the roads might not lead to Rome, but so many do that it's got to be the best answer. Geographic location. Valyria's history began as a city-state on a peninsula in southern Essos. In contrast, Rome began as a city-state on the South European peninsula that holds Italy. Over time, both Essos and Rome grew to expand across their entire peninsula and far beyond. Both Rome and Valyria developed strong infrastructures, which by the standards of their times, advanced achievements in science, engineering, philosophy, and the arts. The Game of Thrones universe credits magic for many of Valyria's wins. At the same time, magic seems like part of the physics of Planetos, so it's still a fair comparison. Like Rome, Valyria engaged in various wars for supremacy. Valyria also enjoyed broad influence all over the planet, extending beyond its conquered domains. Like Rome, Valyria also enjoyed broad trading networks. Along with trade, other cities borrowed ideas from Valyria's government, much like modern democracies credit Rome and Greece as the foundation of their modern governments. Even though elite aristocrats ruled Valyria, Rome mostly existed as an oligarchy as well. Eventually, the Roman Empire fell to invaders and internal strife. In contrast, Valyria succumbed to what might have been a natural or supernatural cataclysm. Even after either of these empires ceased to dominate, people near and far still spoke their language and many dialects. And no, ancient Rome didn't generate its own dragon myths, though it borrowed and elaborated on some from other cultures, like ancient Greece and the Near East. And even such notable Roman naturalists as Pliny the Elder appeared to believe in dragons and take reports on them seriously. As another aside, more than one Roman general excused the failure of missions to, you guessed it, dragons. Next time you binge Game of Thrones or read a book from the A Song of Ice and Fire universe, perhaps you will find even more comparisons between Old Valyria and the Roman Empire. And when your teacher or boss asks you why you missed a deadline, You might try using dragons as an excuse. Thanks for watching. Why not click the like button and leave a comment to explain what you think.